Welcome to Coastal with Kathryn. As we're finishing up Season 2, we wanted to share with you some of the highlights from our episodes when we visited Bluffton. Bluffton is a charming community for so many reasons, but we loved its culinary cuisine and talented artists. So up first, we're going to start with our visit to the Culinary Institute of the South, where we met with both Chef Miles Huff and Chef Jackie Orrick. Well, here's a quick review of the yummy dishes we learned to make. An hors d'oeuvre, oysters on the half shell with spinach and salsa. An appetizer, crab cakes on green fried tomatoes. For an entree, blackened flounder, crispy Brussels sprouts, sun-dried tomatoes, and grits prepared with fresh corn. And of course, dessert, a favorite, chocolate chip strawberries. Are you hungry yet?
Here we have oysters, so let's start with you, Chef and Kari.
All right.
Oh my.
So we have our oysters. These are Blue Point oysters. These are local. Obviously, you know oysters come in basically two different types. They come selects or they come in clusters. If you're having an oyster roast, obviously you can get away with clusters, which are cheaper. But for this application, we want to do selects. If you look, obviously it's very sharp on this end. So you always look for the hinge, right?
Okay.
And you don't want to eat the oyster if it is open, because
That's
means
right.
because this is a live, living sea creature. So we don't want to do that. So basically, you stick it in here, you pop it open, and you expose that oyster. So our dish today, we're looking for. We want to loosen the muscle, but we also want to keep this flavor, this nice salinity. This is what a lot of Lowcountry people love, is that nice salinity, sea taste right from the sea. So we want to preserve that. So one of the things I want to do, which is now coming in season, is spinach, baby spinach. So we're going to move over, and we're going to, we have water simmering for our spinach. We just want to lightly blanch our spinach. It's just going to be a very quick. All I want to do is slightly wilt this. So we're going to go ahead and add this. Get some of the moisture out. We're going to incorporate our cream cheese.
And how much would you
I'm not
say?
going to put all this in. All I want to do is soften it some. So maybe
Quarter cup?
Quarter cup.
All
yeah.
right, we're good.
Get this mixed together, and
Voila.
so all we want to do now is we want to just, like I said, I'm going to top this a little bit here.
And it's interesting, you really want to keep the fluid too, because you always think
Yes.
you have to dump the fluid, but you do not want to dump the
No,
fluid.
you don't.
This
And
is
like I said,
special.
so it's just going to go in about a 400-degree oven just for maybe 3 to 5 minutes. All I want to do is heat this up. Probably go ahead and pop these out. You can see they are starting to get a little crispy on top, which is what we're looking for.
Is that done right? Are we in the right spot?
Absolutely. You can start to see the little bit of coloration
Aren't they
in the
pretty?
oysters. But yeah, we still have that flavor there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get this nice salsa that I made earlier. And there again, I think the key with salsa is having it kind of small. You don't want big chunks. We call this a very small dice. And now we're just going to top with a little bit of.
Gustavo's going to be happy. Gustavo's going to be happy. Who's Gustavo? He's the man that's holding the camera. We are a family here. I got Kari, I have Gustavo. We're missing Ricky, we're missing Joe, but everybody, we're
Well,
here
I think
with
they're missing
you.
out today.
They are. So sorry, guys. But look at this.
So we eat with our eyes first, so it's very important. that-
You know, you're right. That's a very important thing to
It's a
do.
scallion.
It is. I
Yeah.
it's so full. Yeah.
What do you think? He can't
Still
speak.
warm. It's good.
Yeah,
Still
it's
warm?
warm. Kari?
Excellent.
Still warm.
Everybody's thinking this is wonderful.
Incredible.
All right, we're rolling. So next we're on to green fried tomatoes
Yes.
and palmetto cheese. And let's start, Chef.
Okay.
Crab cakes.
So what we have here is there again it's a coarse, and you can see the yellow cornmeal in here.
Okay.
And it's seasoned flour. You can see the black pepper flakes, and we also have flour. So let's just go ahead and take these green tomatoes.
Okay.
All right. So I want still a little bit of a bite left into, a little bit of crunchiness left into these tomatoes. So I
Okay.
think we've pretty much achieved that.
So these are your crab cakes?
These are the crab cakes.
And is it a secret recipe, or can you share it?
I
with us? How
cannot
did you-
tell you this recipe.
Oh.
There's crab.
There's crab.
No, basically all we have here is, I'm gonna turn this out so it doesn't get too crazy on us. All we have here is we have a little bit of Dijon mustard.
Yeah.
We have some scallion, as you can see in there.
Yeah.
I have mayonnaise,
Okay.
and I have some breadcrumb and 1 egg.
That's all right.
Yeah. And that 1 egg will help to be a binder.
Okay.
Let's flatten these out just a little bit here.
All right.
All right, so we're ready. Let's go ahead and we're gonna plate this up.
All right. Okay, so now we just plated the green tomato and the crab cakes, and now we're adding a
A
compliment.
little bit of white truffle oil, and I want you to smell this, and you'll really be able to pick it out.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, it does, and it doesn't take a lot.
Ooh, it's very
Right?
savory.
So we call this dressing the greens.
Okay.
Okay, so we're just gonna put a little bit right there. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that looks spectacular. Seriously.
Maybe just a pinch of salt in there. That's all. We're just going to take those greens and we're going to put them right across here. As we said,
Beautiful.
we eat with our eyes
Encore.
first. So
Beautiful, chef.
there you go. So our fried green tomatoes with our crab cakes, our southern crab cakes, topped with our microgreens with a little bit of white truffle oil. That crunch factor on the palate for sure.
I think they love this, chef. What do you think?
I think so. I think they need to come by our restaurant when we're open.
So we're on to our next. We have our entree, and now, chef, we are at the stove, and we are going to make grits.
So basically, what I have here is water and
Okay.
a little bit of milk, and
Oh, that's what it is.
yes, I got a
There's
little bit of milk in it. Now,
Okay.
a lot of chefs will use heavy cream,
Oh,
or they'll add the heavy cream down towards the end. And this is probably, I just kind of eyeball it, because obviously now this grits is going to bloom. So we're going to keep that going.
okay.
We're also, now we're going to move over to our Brussels, because this is going to go in the same dish as that. We also have back here, we do have some, I have vegetable stock. If you really want it, a lot of chefs will use chicken stock and kind of flavor into that profile if you want to. The Brussels we have going. So with the Brussels, I've lightly put in, I do have some scallions in here, and they are blistered. I like them blistered, and I do have from the stock, I can steam them just a little bit if I want a little bit of a softer texture. Some sun-dried tomatoes.
Oh, as easy as that.
As easy as that, right? And they already come cut, julienne, right? So if you didn't want to actually take out the knife, so I grilled the corn.
All
All I
right.
did was brush it with a little bit of oil.
Yep.
You could use olive oil if you want to. And all I'm wanting is some color.
Yep.
Okay, I want to bring out that color, so get the little char from the grill. And we're going to incorporate that into the grits. So
All
the
right.
dried versus the fresh.
And
All
what's
right.
underneath the bowl? Anything, or is it just
No, I'm going to show you a little technique. Yeah. And then it falls down right into the bowl. So now we have this corn cob, right? And so I'm going to take the back of my knife and I'm going to pull out all of this, what we call the milk. So, I
Right.
mean, this is some really good stuff.
So this is a great trick. I never knew that. I knew the first part, but the second part, that is actually
Yeah.
keeps the meat.
Yes. So now we're going to take this corn and we're going to incorporate it into our grits.
So this does two things: aesthetics, and also gives a little bit more density in it. Or?
Absolutely. Let me get my fish. We'll go ahead and
All
get
right.
that started. You can make your own blackening spice.
magic savory?
Yes. Actually, my daughter, who's a vegetarian, she uses this on her vegetables.
And it's called black and red fish?
Yes.
Red, oh,
By
okay.
Paul Prudhomme, which I met twice.
Oh.
Yes. So blackening, obviously.
Keys.
most-
What are the keys to blackening?
depending on how thick the fish is, but as you can start to see, it will start turning opaque right around the
yeah.
edge.
Yeah.
And so usually a fillet like that, maybe a minute and a half on each side. So it's a very quick process.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
All right.
we're moving on from here.
Let's go ahead and do some plating.
Okay.
All right.
Let's see. A little bit of this.
I'm gonna put some
This
really
is the
nice
grits, which he added some fresh corn to it. So it gives us consistency and some of that authentic corn taste.
So we have this beautiful bowl. So I'll have to clean up the edge now. We can go ahead and add our Brussels. Or maybe we'll do that last. We'll go ahead and add our fish. Okay. We can layer this if we want to. And maybe we'll go here.
You just read my mind. Because I do want to try the Brussels sprouts. I do want to try your grits. That would be great.
So we have this really nice warm grits. And so these are very thinly sliced onions that I did, cornstarch, and I just lightly fried them.
Ooh,
so
those
now,
are really good. I love that stuff. I love onion rings.
I wasn't sure if it was onion or calamari.
But look at this. It's
so
beautiful.
now we're going to get a nice crunch
Nice smell
factor.
it. Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
It's flounder blackened with
Wow.
Brussels sprouts with
You are.
sun-dried tomatoes and also grits with authentic corn in it. All right, let's see. Let's see what their expressions are. It does look delicious. It's a beautiful. I mean, the colors, as Chef says, you know, we eat with our eyes at first, and then we get a chance to taste. So Gustavo is closing his eyes, and he's going, yeah. So with our wonderful meal, we have to have dessert. So Carrie, guess who we found? We had Chef Jacqueline, we call her Chef Jackie here, OART. And not only is she the head of the department for pastry and baking,
And culinary, the whole department. So what I have set up here, how to melt. I don't necessarily like to melt chocolate in the microwave because chocolate can burn very easily. So you never want to heat your chocolate over 120 degrees. So what I have set up here, this is dark chocolate and then white chocolate. But if you didn't know, white chocolate's really not chocolate at all. It's a made-up confection. We have what's called a double boiler. We have a little bit of water. You heat it up to a simmering. You don't want the water to touch the bottom of the bowl. You want the steam to slowly melt your chocolate. And when you start to dip or try to do anything with chocolate, to get a nice crisp, you would have to shell. You would have to do what's called tempering. But for home and average, just a quick, what you might have seen, you would like to do a chocolate coating. So with tempering, you actually have to melt the chocolate, cool it down, and then rewarm it because you want the cocoa butter and the cocoa solids, what actually is made up of chocolate, to come together at the right temperature, so almost emulsify at that proper 88 degrees. That's a lot of work for the average person. So what I'm going to teach you guys today is how to make a chocolate coating. It's kind of like what you would put over ice cream, and it quickly sets up. So a chocolate coating, what I've got here is about a pound of, again, either chocolate, dark, or milk, white, and you add about a tablespoon of oil. You can do vegetable oil is what I've used here, and that extra fat slightly seizes the chocolate and allows it to set up quickly within a couple minutes. If you needed to speed up the process, you could also throw it in the refrigerator. Two enemies of chocolate, which you may not know, is going to be moisture, water, so you don't want it to sit in a cooler too long. And also with a double boiler, which I tell my students all the time, anytime you do a double boiler with anything that you're working with, always make sure you have a towel, and you always want to wipe the bottom of the bowl because this moisture, if it gets in anywhere of the chocolate, will cause it to seize and or separate. I do not encourage you to wash your berries. So I have a pastry brush where you could just lightly brush and try to get any of the dirt, if there's any on there. But again, moisture from washing the berries would get into the chocolate, and it will not work. So lightly brush with the pastry brush, and then also you can either dip with, as I said, have here a skewer, or you could do a toothpick if you don't want to get your hands, if you can't hold the green. I like to keep the green on just so that when people have something to grab, that they can, when they're eating it. But you can also take the green off so that the whole berry is edible. And then I will do one little demo here where I like to get it all the way in. So twirling it around, trying to get all the way up to the white. And then you're going to let it carefully drip down. So the trick about when you're finished dipping is setting it on the paper for it to set up. Now when you set it up, you don't want to have what's called a little footy, and I'm going to come across, pardon my reach, ladies. I'm going to come here and I'm going to put it down, and then I slide it forward, and that will allow for no footy to appear in the front, and it's going to create a little base for itself. Okay, That's
so
a great trick. push it down and slide it forward. So we have what's called here a cornet bag. It's the same chocolate that's in there. So you're just going to cut off a small little tip. And then for the white, you just kind of drizzle back and forth, slowly over. Whether it's cooking or baking, takes practice.
To celebrate the end of our show, we look at the beautiful treats that we have. We have CWK with hearts and kisses. We want to thank you so much for introducing us. I'd like to, Chef Miles, thank you so much for our help. And Chef Jackie, I want to thank you so much.
To watch our full episodes and you want to know the recipes, be sure to visit our website, coastalkathryn.com.
Where am I? I am at the Bluffton, South Carolina Old Town, and they are having an Art Seafood Festival this weekend, and I'm going to go visit it, so stay with us because we're going to see a lot of fun things.
This festival was meant to be a gift to the community, but also as an economic driver.
Right.
So that's what we're trying to do, and to highlight the gems of Bluffton. Our seafood, our art, our culture, our history. I mean, we call it is a event put on for the community, by the community, and benefiting the community.
So basically my subject years ago, before I moved here, were tenant farmers, black tenant farmers. And when I met Drac, I was just like, I have got to paint him. He was my subject here in the Lowcountry. Because there weren't a lot of tenant farmers around, but I kind of transitioned from tenant farmers to an oysterman.
Right. So how often, I mean, is it right out in the May River?
That's correct, yes. So he goes out there basically every day during oyster season, and he'll just get the oysters as you see. He'll tromp through the pluff bud and fill up these containers, put them in his boat, and he will go back to the oyster factory or oyster company and sell it to them as they sell it to the public.
This is really unique. I love her style. This is Rachel Newman, and she's a Bluffton artist. And the simplicity in the colors are just very zen. I mean, it makes me just relax immediately as I come in. Beautiful colors. Let's see. Definitely should stop by here.
It's great for the community to bring the community together, all the different parts of the community, bring it together, especially for a community like Bluffton that has different parts of the community, such as people who have been here their whole lives. You have people who have moved here for different reasons. So having something like this to bring all of those pieces together for a truly a community-wide event is invaluable.
No Seafood Festival is complete without stopping here at the Bluffton Oyster Company. These guys are homegrown. They've been here for 3 generations, to my understanding.
Correct.
And look at this. They have, hi, how are you? Looks great. What are you making? What are you cooking?
Fried shrimp.
Fried shrimp. Don't we all love fried shrimp?
Delicious.
Delicious. And so this you have to be a go-to, but I'd love to do is go out on one of their boats. What do you think?
That would be interesting to see how a real shrimp boat operates. There's not a whole lot left. That used to be, shrimping and oystering used to be a huge part of the economy in Bluffton, but of course times have changed and there are not many left, and so the Bluffton Oyster Company are one of the few. So being able to go out there and see what they do and how they do it would be a truly special event.
This is really special.
Nature is something that I've been involved with since I was a little kid. Originally I was a biologist, and then I was looking for a way to share nature with more people than just other scientists. So I shifted into art and photography and specifically.
Let's just come inside. Let's take a peek. I mean, how do you find this inspiration? I mean, beautiful.
Yeah, so with all my photographs, I almost always preconceive the idea, pre-visualize it. Sometimes I'll even sketch what I'm looking for in a photograph, and then I'm going to ask myself, where do I need to be? When do I need to be to have the best chance of that? And then at that point, it's probably another 2 weeks in the field to get the photo I'm looking for.
I love this. I mean, this is just amazing. I love the color simplicity. I mean, your eye, it's so vibrant. So I want to introduce you to Michael Smalls and Dino Badger. And this is a true craftsmanship. This is the Lowcountry Gullah sweetgrass baskets, right?
Right.
So tell me about the heritage.
The gullah baskets are actually an art form that was brought from Sierra Leone, West Africa, over 400 years ago by our ancestors. When they were enslaved and brought, they were placed on 2 plantations in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, Boone Hall Plantation and Laurel Hill. From those 2 plantations, they were rice plantations. So they brought the concept of the baskets to clean and shaft the rice, as well as toting fruits and vegetables out of the fields, holding their babies while they're in the fields working. So during that era, it was more of a utility basket or a working tool. And as our generations came down, we got more decorative, the way you see the sidings and the circles, but everything is still functional.
Mojo is from Florida. And you know, what I've noticed a lot is people are going for mixed medias. And tell me about that. It seems to be the new thing that's happening.
Well, I've always loved to recycle things, so all my pieces are based on finding the right objects to put together to create what I call 3-dimensional collages. And that makes each one of a kind then. And sometimes I'll find things on the beach or in junk piles where you never know. And then I'll build a piece around that.
Well, let's take a look here. I mean, this one is a great day for a swing. I mean, it's like fabric.
Yeah,
and
some fabric in there.
Come on over here. And you find these, oh, look at this.
Yeah, that's an old ship's wheel that I got off of a boat that was wrecked and made it into a background for my sailboats.
And here's the one for fishing. Look at this guy,
Yeah.
for the enthusiast for fishing. That is very sweet too. And you live in Charleston.
Yes.
So you're visiting here from the Charleston area. And tell me about your medium and what inspires you? Because I'm finding that the mixed mediums it's coming, and it's a lot of people are enjoying it now. It seems to be the latest.
Well, I've been doing for over 20 some years, and it all inspires from traveling. I do all the photography. I go to places that then I make a story about each place.
You do?
So they all have a location. Yes.
They have a location, so I guess where I know that is.
Portofino.
Portofino, that's right. And what about over in this area?
This is more of a beach house mixed with, from my background in interior design. And that's Charleston, beautiful Charleston.
That is
Porch.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And let's look over here behind us. Oh, I love the beach house and the cabana. And
It's a
that.
mix, yeah.
That's a mix.
A little bit of everywhere, yeah.
And how long have you been creating this artwork?
This style about over 25 years.
So at the festival, it's really important that a lot of people are helping us. I want to introduce you to Dan Trafrida, who is the president of the Rotary Club. You know, every community has a Rotary Club, but they are so important for things like this. In fact, John Kirkland was telling me that, you know, you volunteers actually help about 85% of putting this festival together.
That is correct. We got we're 82 and growing strong, and about 85% of the labor here is all Rotary based. And the rest are just little other community organizations.
That's great. And so tell me, what do you love about this festival?
You know, there's a lot of things. What's not to, you know, we got a lot of the local vendors, a lot of people who travel far away, a lot of people who come from far away, and a lot of the money that's made from the beer, well, actually all the profits made, comes back to the local community. So, you know, what's not to love? And I mean, the day, the place, the music, you know, it's just a great all-around event, you know.
It's a great
outcome. And it's a, 8-day long thing and ends with 2-day festival. So, you know, it's kind of it's a really great event, you know.
So this is called Reel It Up, and how interesting this is they use driftwood, and then they take maps from the communities that they're visiting. So this is Hilton Head. So this becomes a special piece of the community, or if it's a keepsake if you've been visiting. And you can see there's the river here. So this is the Soba Gallery, and they host a lot of the various artists in the community, and the work is really pretty talented, and they have something for everybody here. I mean, between the photography, the artwork, you have to stop by the Soba Gallery because it is definitely a treat when you walk in there. You know, we have to stop by and see Bobby, who's at this store here in Bluffton.
Yes.
Lovely to see you.
Nice to see you too.
You know, what I love about your store is that there's just so many eclectic things. I mean, really hard to find, including you, but you're just darling. I love that.
Thank you so much.
So how are you enjoying the festival?
I love it. It's so wonderful. It's a beautiful day. People are having a fabulous time.
Well, you are the hostess with the mostest. I want to thank you for stopping by with me.
Thank you. Bye.
I'll see you later. Well, I want to stop here at Benjamin's, which is part of the Lowcountry as well. Hey, Benjamin, nice to see you. So let's look at your menu. What do we have here that you're offering us?
Yeah, so right here we got the ham and provolone Monte Cristo. So basically we dip it in the batter and then drop it in the deep fryer, and it's almost like a funnel cake on the exterior with the meat and cheese on the inside, so it's real nice. And then right here we got the loaded tater tots, deep fried Oreos, and deep fried Twinkie.
Oh my gosh. I don't know where to start. What do you recommend? What do you think I should get?
I definitely recommend the Monte Cristo. That is probably our best seller, so that's probably the one you're going to want to go with.
You know what? I'm going to have a Monte Cristo. I want to introduce you to Dave Dixon, who is the art chair of the committee for the artists here. And you know, we quickly walked around, and it was amazing to see the fine art that we have here. I mean, there's a lot of great artists, and there's also a little bit fun things as well.
Right.
So tell us a little bit about what do we have on display?
Okay. Basically, we classify it as a fine art show, and it's a juried show, which means everybody has to go through a jury, which means they supply pictures of their art, picture of their booth, so that we have a chance to really supervise what they're going to show here.
You know, in walking the festival, I had a chance to introduce myself to Lydia Lingman, who is the publisher of Star Books, and she has a wonderful collection of coastal books and authors. So I want to ask you, I mean, look at this wonderful display we have here. Tell us, at the festival, what are people looking for?
Well, you can see we have our Bluffton book. People really enjoy having books about place, and it gives them a sense of more enjoyment for where they are. They learn about the history of the town or the area, and they do that through various stories that our authors are telling, combined with photographs, and that really enhances and gives a full experience between two hardcovers, and we really like to do that.
Thanks for joining us. To see all their episodes from season 1 and 2, please go visit our website, coastalwithkathryn.com, or our YouTube channel. We've also recently launched a travel shop, and be sure to sign up for our newsletter and interesting blogs. Many thanks, and until next time, this is Coastal with Kathryn.